Yeehaw! Galactic, Bow Money featuring the Rebirth Brass Band. It's the top of the hour here at Radio Free Fargo, 95.9 LPFM, Moorhead, Fargo, 701-478-4959, radiofreefargo.org. You can stream this bad boy 24 hours a day. Right before me was Side Stage with Trav, and man, his show's getting better and better, and that kind of means that I got to get better and better too. Now, I can't give you a guarantee, but it's something to shoot for. Check his show out, noon to 3 o'clock. Automation till 4. And now you got Canna-Talk ND with Wilson. Canna News at 4:20. And I've got 2 minutes to get like the business out because I'm going to play 17-minute Murder Most Foul by Bob Dylan, his account of JFK assassination. And if that doesn't make you feel better, then maybe you need to call the 1-800-233-4512. That's the mobile mental health crisis response. Otherwise, and then at 4:20, we've got all kinds of cannabis news, and we're going to get at that. First of all, I'm no longer associated or connected with, and it rhymes with PP Schmanimus Smaucus. So Indie Cannabis Caucus, I'm no longer connected with, so any content that comes out from there is not me. I am Canna-Talk ND, Indie for Freedom of Cannabis on Facebook. That page is still where you can go. Me and my sister from another mister runs that one. So stay tuned. Canna-Talk ND, I'm going to be out there. Canna-Talk ND with Wilson on Instagram. Canna-Talk ND on Facebook and Canna-Talk ND on YouTube. Bear with us. We're going to get content up there as soon as we possibly can. And so I'm going to put all my, effort into Canna-Talk ND and advocating, but I'm kind of at a slump right now. There really isn't anything being pushed. We'll talk about everything else at 4:20. So I thought, well, why not we do it like the teachers, when they push in the card after lunch with the movie, and all the kids are like, yay, we don't have to learn anything. That's where we're at. Murder Most Foul, Bob Dylan. We'll see you in 17 minutes. Boy, well, if that didn't trip you out, you're shopping at the wrong dispensary, folks. For those of you who didn't get into that, hey, it's over. So give yourself a hand. You made it through. Personally, if you're into Bob Dylan, he gets older, but his voice gets stronger, and anything kind of poetic with that kind of gray, rainy feel, I'm all about. But Radio Free Fargo, 95.9, radiofreefargo.org. You get all the content, jump in there, look around. But guess what? It's showtime. So let's do this. Let's get caked up. Hello, everybody. Canna-Talk ND with Wilson every Thursday on Radio Free Fargo, 95.9er. We talk about cannabis and legal aspects of that. We're not here to break the law. We're here to change the law, and I'm going to reduce stigma my waking hour. So we've got a lot to talk about. There's a lot in the stinking old news that we're going to get into. Not a lot locally, but before we go any further, I just want to say that there is a measure out there that's circulating, and it is for the legalizing of cannabis. I've been pretty transparent and vocal how I don't like the measure. I think it's mucked up by political muckiness. And I've never really trusted politicians, and ones aspiring to be politicians get kind of sneaky too on saying what they mean and mean what they say. However, I want cannabis legalized no matter what. So there is a measure out there. You can sign it. I think it is going to be the 2020. I think they need enough by December. So if you're in a store and you see that petition, you heard it here. Wilson said go ahead and sign it because it is progress. Again, it's not my favorite. I think there's a lot of stuff. It almost feels like a 3-year-old wrote it. But again, I don't know nothing about political strings and all that hubbub. All I know is that cannabis benefits people in all walks of life for all kinds of reasons, and I believe governmental overreach has caused years and years and years of sorrow. So I had to say it. There is a measure. You can sign it. I don't like it, but it does get cannabis legalized for the masses. So North Dakota residents, there you go. Now, marijuanamoment.net, you can jump on that page and we can look around together. RadioFreeFargo.org, you can stream it. Tom Angel, really, there's going to be a lot popping on, not locally, but what's the word I'm looking for? Over the world. Regional? I don't know. In the great state of us, we've got a lot going on. So let's talk about Montana. Montana will vote on 2 marijuana legalization measures in November. State confirmed, so that's good. It looks like, and if you watch or listen to this show, you know that Montana was attempting to do all kinds of stuff. They were trying to get the legal, doing the ballot online. But the activists collected more than enough signatures to qualify 2 measures. So we'll talk about that. November ballot. Let's give Montana a hand. Clap, clappity, clap. 3 claps for Montana. One initiative, a statutory change, would create a system of legal cannabis access for adult use. A separate constitutional amendment, which is what we really need. We really need it. But so the current one out there in North Dakota isn't a constitutional measure. Again, it's kind of mucked up by the expectations of, government control. There's so many hurdles. You just turn into a turtle and stick your head in your shell. So, a separate constitutional amendment would ensure only those 21 and older can participate in the market. If the statutory measure is approved by voters, possessing up to an ounce of cannabis would be allowed, and people would or could cultivate up to 4 plants and 4 seedlings at home. So that's essentially 8 plants. The Montana Department of Revenue would be in charge of regulating the legal industry and would issue business license by January 1st, 2022. And I don't want to tell anybody here in North Dakota, okay, especially in Dickinson, shout out to my kid and her man, Williston. I don't know what you know is right next to you. I don't know. I don't want to tell you. But if you look at a map, it rhymes with Bon Flamma. That's right. Montana is like Moorhead is to me here in Fargo. So, again, I wouldn't be suggesting you anything, but I'd start looking at the tourism travel pamphlets in the rest stops. You know what I'm saying? So there would be a 20% sales tax on recreational marijuana, while the tax on medical cannabis products would be reduced from 2 to 1%. Well, man, Montana. Yeah, let's give them another hand. 2 of them. 1, 2. Revenue from legal sales would go toward land, water, wildlife conservative programs, veteran services, substance misuse treatment, healthcare, local governments that allow cannabis businesses, and the state general fund. Man, that's beautiful. I mean, I almost feel like this is the one we need. I mean, they've got all the funds being directed in the right way. A fiscal note from the Governor's Office of Budget and Program Planning estimates that legal cannabis retail taxes will generate, are you ready? $38.5 million a year by fiscal year 2025. So I'm sure there's at least 45 government officials with a lot of power that listens to this. But they should listen to that. I mean, and what trips me out is that they already know how much, I mean, and that's what people, people that shell out money, that's what they want to know. They want to know, well, if I buy your business, how many turkeys are you going to sell? How many turkeys have you sold? And what's going to keep me from selling more turkeys or less? So how do they come up with this number? But again, that's what people need. They need hard facts, especially if you want to get those curmudgeons to peel off all their fitties and hundies. And I mean like hundreds of thousands, not like, the one I see every once in a while. All right, so our research has also always shown that a majority of Montanans support legalization. See, and that's another thing they're going to use. And my sister from another mister, she lives in Cass County with me. And next year, when I get back to, because I'm not going to not advocate. I'm all about it. It's just finding the right fit and just the right fit. But there are some local county things that I can work at directly. So we're coming up with a plan as we speak. So you Cass County people know that I know that we all voted for Measure 3. And if you don't know, I'll tell you again, Cass County, if Cass County was the only county in North Dakota, we would be celebrating cannabis legalization. So basically the rest of the state screwed us over, Cass County. Just kidding. Shout out to Sioux County, although they were the other county that got it green for Measure 3. I love you guys. Keep rocking. But anyway, so we thought, well, why not? Because it's going to be harder. The sponsorship, you don't need as many. But, when you start working locally to change, especially if it isn't legal already. But the thing is we have a medical program, and we are working on decrims. So what we're looking at is just accenting that the current temperature of the, of our state, and then just fitting that niche into Cass County. So Cass County people just know that, just because this show is kind of silly and I forced you through 16 minutes of Bob Dylan, which I personally blew my mind. I've listened to it probably 6 times. But anyway, I'm working. If you don't hear what I'm working on, it doesn't mean I'm not. And I'm going to, because cannabis, adult use, is my mantra, my chi-boo. Made it up. So anyway, guess who said this about Montana and support legalization? Now voters will have the opportunity to enact that policy, which will create jobs and generate new revenue, says Pepper Peterson, a spokesperson for New Approach Montana. Pepper Peterson, why don't you give old Wilson a call here, Radio Free Fargo, KRF 95.9, and let's talk about it. We'll talk about your name first, because we got to. Pepper Peterson, get out of town. I like you already. But yeah, give me a shout. We'll talk, we're the neighbors from another labor. I got to stop rhyming that stuff. So anyway, it also means law enforcement will stop wasting time and resources arresting adults for personal marijuana possession and instead focus on real crime. Under the separate amendment that also qualified for the ballot, the state constitution would be amended to clarify that a person 18 years of age or older is an adult for all purposes except that the legislator or the people by initiative may establish the legal age for purchasing, consuming, or possessing alcoholic beverages. Montana, just for the record, they approved a medical cannabis initiative in 2004 and later passed a 2016 expansion measure. So Montana is awesome. So good work, Montana. And we'll keep cooking here. 4 more Ohio cities will vote on marijuana decriminalization on November. And again, I'm on Marijuana Moment. This is written by Kyle Yeager. You guys can follow along. We are going to have to read. You got to know how to read. So, if that sets anybody back, my bad. 4 more Ohio cities will be voting on local measures to decrim marijuana this November, while they faced signature gathering challenges amid the, notice how I haven't mentioned the rhymes with Shimona Schmyrus? Because I ain't gonna. You guys hear way enough. I ain't gonna. Advocates announced on Wednesday that they successfully collected enough valid signatures and turned them in ahead of the deadline to qualify for municipal ballots. So let's see. We got Adena, Gloucester, Jacksonville, and Trimble will each see the reform measures on their ballots after local boards of election certify the petitions. So I think that's what I'm saying to you guys. This is my next kind of dig in and focus. Cities, counties, decrim. We're kind of getting there. And again, Cass County voted it for Cass County, which I believe is the largest county. So let's keep cruising here. Here's a new initiative to legalize cannabis sales in D.C. This is by Kyle Yeager. Activists recently filed a new proposed ballot to legalize marijuana sales in Washington, D.C. The measure, titled the New Modern Day Cannabis Justice Reform Act, which stands for Hi, my name is Slim Greggy, would end prosecutions of cannabis cultivation, sales, and consumption. It would also prevent marijuana from being the basis of police searches. Let me read that again. It would also prevent marijuana from being the basis of police searches. Washington, D.C., North Dakota, South Dakota especially. See what they said? Yeah, prevent cops from using it as police searches. Because nowadays, like I said, crime is a budget now. There's board members that go, well, we've been able to get this much money based on people's poor choices. And that's what it is. They profit from poor choices. Now, however, if those choices didn't have, criminal background, well, then just think about where we'd be. And where the police would, again, I remember protect and serve really kind of meant that. And now, I was a crazy kid. I didn't follow many of the rules or laws. I've paid a lot of fines and a lot of heartache and I'm currently alone, probably because of some of that. All right. So when I talk about this stuff, I talk about personally, but I'm not proud of it, really. But, there was times we'd get pulled over, we'd be hiding stuff under the seats, and they just didn't seem invested in pursuing anything. Now my kids said, well, maybe they should have, but I'm just saying that's an era. An era has changed because we're living in kind of this crime for profit, and we're part of a budgeting plan. I think the minute breaking the law became an expected thing, how many can we get? Changed how cops protected and served me. Because I could go out on the streets right now and say, if we removed all of the cannabis users in Cass County, would we be protected? Would the cops have done their job? Would we think they served us? Because we would know some of them. It'd probably be our relatives that we got to go visit behind bars. Does that feel like being served by the police department? I don't think so. Certainly not a protection. So the focus got weird on what cops are motivated to do. We're doing it for the public and the people. But I know, and I'm not everybody, but I've been out. I've talked to thousands of people, and they don't say anything about Deweys or breaking into people's houses or stealing your TV from your aunt because you've been up 16 days. No, they say stuff like, I wish this would. My dad would never have been if, I'm still paying for that oneie I got hit with at the science school dance one time. And for you guys that don't know, oneie is like a thing you get one hit in. There you go. You can write that down. So anyway, we've got D.C. They're doing action. We've got Ohio doing stuff. And then let's see here what else we got. I certainly don't want to cover the election coming up. You guys are going to get hit with a lot of that as well, So I'm going to mention here, Wyoming judge dismisses marijuana charges against hemp farmers. Thank you, Wyoming. That was 2 days ago. Now, I'm going to cover one more thing, and then I'm going to do like a fun thing. Now, since you can listen to this and stream this on RadioFreeFargo.org, if in fact you lived in a legal state, this would apply to you. And if you have a medical card in North Dakota, that also covers you. Because again, I don't want to break the law. I want to change the law. I also, again, I'm trying to do the right thing in my life. So I just wanted to mention this article here. It was by the Ganjapreneur, Monday, August 10th. It says, military vet sentenced to life for $30 cannabis sale to be set free. So this is a good kind of a feel-good story. And then after this, I'm going to tell you the 7 ways for people to remove the smell around your world, your business, your 6 feet, to reduce bringing attention to yourself about the smells. And there's a lot of just general reasons, even if you're allowed to. And again, this broadcasts out to all the states, even Canada. Yes, I said Canada. Isn't it cooler than Canada? I think so. But anyway, this is in Louisiana. He sold $30 worth to an undercover Louisiana police officer. And he's recently been resentenced to time served and will be released from prison. Derek Harris, a military vet, of course. And I can't focus on stuff like this because I get so fired up. Because it just don't make any sense. How can you say we support we really got to change the way we're thinking. And the younger generation, like the one my daughter is in, thankfully, they don't think the same way my parents do or their parents. Because they got indoctrinated a long time ago, and, it's like arguing with a brick wall. But why in the world would you put a military veteran in stinking prison for life for $30 of cannabis? And it wasn't even a gram, it was 0.69 grams, like a half a gram. I don't even know why he was paying that much. But anyway, he was initially sentenced to 15 years, but was resentenced in 2012 to life under the state's habitual offender law. Now that starts to get into like the 3 strikes and you're out. And, again, this applies less to him just strictly being in prison for 0.69 grams. I mean, this guy probably broke into a house and, shot up a come and go. And then the third thing was this. But again, it still sucks. It still shouldn't have happened. The state Supreme Court had agreed to hear his case, agreeing that he had ineffective assistance of counsel at sentencing on post-conviction review. And again, public pretenders have I mean, even when you go to jail, you ain't got the money and they say one will be provided for you. You know that they're not going to get what you really want out of it, because a lot of them work directly for the state. They go and talk to the prosecuting attorneys. They go, hey, what should we do about Wilson? Well, maybe do this. Okay, we'll do that. You know what I mean? So it's not like they're truly out to get for you. So it makes absolutely positive sense that he had ineffective assistance of counsel. I'm assuming he was an urban gentleman. That's the word I kind of like to use. Don't cancel me. It's fun. In the opinion, Louisiana Supreme Court Justice John Weimer, not to be confused with Weiner, described Harris' previous offenses as nonviolent and related to his untreated dependency on drugs. Harris developed a drug problem upon returning from his, quote, his honorable military service in Desert Storm, unquote, a U.S. military operation in Iraq in 1990, he noted in the ruling. He said he wasn't a drug pen, blah, blah, blah. But the judge said his hands were tied because of the habitual offender law, which, man. So they found that the judges can and must deviate from a mandatory minimum sentence in a case if they determine it shocks the conscience. That is awesome. If it shocks the conscience. I love that. I don't know why I love it, but it would overrule mandatory minimums if it shocks the convenience or the conscience. So if you go like, oh, man, I don't know. I'm putting this guy 15 years for like less than a cracker? He goes home. He can't eat. His wife wonders what's up with him. She follows in the room. She's like, man, he goes, I'm going to have to send this guy up for 15 years. He was a vet in Desert Storm. I mean, you don't even have enough, like, I got more than he does, the judge says. I'm paraphrasing. Well, actually, I'm making it up. And so his wife goes, well, this thing is shocking your conscience. You know, if you can't sleep tonight, you better just go ahead and overrule that mandatory minimum. I love it. I think we should all live by shocking the conscience as a driver or as our moral compass code. Our moral compass driving captain should be called Mr. Shocks the Conscience.com. Harris' release date has not been confirmed, but he's expected to move closer to his family in Kentucky. His brother said his brother was still a little bit shocked by the ruling. The brothers lost their mother during Derek's incarceration. So, good for Derek. That's exciting. And I hope more and more of that stuff happens. I really do, because it just, I'm not a crying guy unless I starve myself and then you show me a sandwich. I found I can get pretty emotional. But anyway, I will, it should get everybody. It should get everybody. It just really should. We just got to change the way we think, And North Dakota, get on board. Although this whole COVID revenue stream and, Ohio's decrimming, Montana, Arizona, I wanted to mention, they got all their signatures. They're going to be on the ballot too, forgot to tell you. They got 400,000 signatures. Okay, so anyway, this is a fun little article, and then we're going to jump right into some fun tunes. I got Adam Sandler pretending to be the excited Southerner. I've got some fun tunes, and it'll wrap up the show. Then, when we reconvene next Thursday, 4 to 5, Canna-Talk ND with Wilson, it'll be a little more political and less wavy. All right, we'll get back to kind of more of the normal, but I don't really have to until I start getting behind something. So I think I'm going to have some fun. I'm going to make sure to bring you all the news I can possibly get my hands on from 4:20 to 4:45. But then, before that and after that, it's going to be a little silly and a little less driven. So if that if that bothers you, just put it on mute and then unmute it at 4:20. Slap it on, unmute it. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, I will mention this 7 ways to smoke weed in your apartment on the sly. This is written by Anna Wilcox, August 13th, 2019. Here are some ways that you can hang out in your place without bringing any attention. And even people with medical cards, which is primarily who I'm talking to in North Dakota, or in states that it's legal, it's smelly, and then there's a lot of judgment and preconceived thought and stuff. Under the radar is probably why cannabis has gotten such a horrible rap. You can't smell meth. Well, you can after a while, but you know what I mean? You can't smell meth. that he's ingested. So a lot of these things you don't even know. So anyway, there's no doubt that it's an aromatic smell, and with COVID-19, a lot of you in your house. So number one is smoke with the Genius pipe. It's kind of like it's built with high-tech features. I don't know. You'll have to Google it. Then a sploof. Spoof's like a toilet paper roll, right? You stuff sheets inside it, and then you rubber band a dryer sheet on the end, and then blow your hit through it. It's made with some dryer sheets, toilet paper tubes, sock, and a rubber band. You can pick up activated carbon from a pet store and add that in as well. I know certain stores have like a whatever. And number three is dab it up, which, vaping and using concentrates, which is really high THC, it's not really recommended for the, non-professional. And you don't consume the cannabis, you just heat it up. So it's a discreet way to do it. Use a vaporizer. Those are getting some momentum. And number five is warm some essential oil or make some cookies. Smoke in the bathroom. I mean, that's like college 101. You get it real hot and steamy. Don't know why it works. But apparently, number seven is vacuum. Fabrics and textiles like to hold on to smoke and odor. So if you smoke indoors quite a lot, chances are your sofa and carpet has absorbed much of the whatever. So breaking out the vacuum is a great way to remove some of the residual odor from your house. If worse comes to worse, and I don't know why it would, Snoop Dogg, sprinkling baking soda on the carpet or our sofa and vacuuming it up can help trap and remove unwanted smoke. Well, folks, we have screamed right up to another end of Canna-Talk ND with Wilson on Radio Free Fargo 95.9. This hour of programming on the Affirmation station is being underwritten by Terps Candy. Terps Candy enhance, relieve, and relax with the power of terpenes, and they make a great CBD companion. Terps Candy can be found at 14 Fargo-Moorhead locations or online at terpscandy.net. Terps Candy, they enhance, relieve, relax, and we actually had the two Terps dudes in here. That's an archived show, and you can go on Canna-Talk ND or RadioFreeFargo.org. Keep track of all that stuff. But anyway, let's play some fun stuff, should we? Here's Adam Sandler.
And now the excited Southerner gets pulled over by a cop.
Well, that was super exciting. So the excited Southerner, does Mel Gibson gets pulled over, and then otherwise it was brand new music by Bruce Hornsby, Bright Star. We had Board Shorts, which aren't as cool as your long shorts, Kendall Street Company, also brand new. And then my new favorite band, Wolfpack, 3 on E, featuring Antoine Stanley. Okay, folks, we've came to an end. Canna-Talk ND with Wilson. Going to be back next Thursday on Radio Free Fargo 95.9. I stream this bad boy as well on Canna-Talk ND, RadioFreeFargo.org. Let's stinking do something, eh? But anyway, I'm out of here. Like always, let's get cannabis legalized. We're not doing anybody any favors by not doing it. So let's handle our business. All right? So speak out. Be proud. Cannabis legalization rules. Here's David Allen, Judgment Day. We'll see you next Thursday.